Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I am making short ribs today, though we're going to have leftover ham and potato salad. Tomorrow is going to be in the hundreds again, so I'm going to cook for tomorrow. So I can only have to heat it up, which will be easier on me. This is my leftover flour that I tell you I always say, well, it's a bit gritty from everything that I've used it for, so I'm going to sift it. It's already got flavorings in it, so I'm not worried about that. It'll just add more flavors to what we're going to have. And see, here are the particles. After you do this, and you just put them in the trash, put it in your compost, just get rid of it. And then you have all this flavor here in your flour. Now, I have vegetable stock that I'm going to be using. And I opened another jar of gelatin. Now it's liquid right now, only because in the fact that I haven't put it in the refrigerator. Once I put it in the refrigerator, it's going to gel up really hard. And this gelatin is what you need for your bones, your joints, your nerves, your teeth. Gelatin is loaded with those minerals and stuff. Minerals keep your nerves from shooting out and getting like this, and it keeps you relaxed on top of it. A lot of people don't know that, but it's very good for you. Minerals keep you in a relaxed state of mind. Getting agitated is too much work. Isn't it funny how the body would do that? But this is like a tranquilizer. But the thing is you have to make it. But when you buy in the store and you do with Jello and stuff, that's made with 2 synthetics. I actually, for people who don't know, I called them 2.5 years ago. And I said, is it natural or are you using these 2 chemicals? And the guy said, look, I don't know, but I'll send it to the right department. They'll get in touch with you in about 2 weeks. It's over 2.5 years and they never came back. When somebody doesn't answer you, you pretty much know you're on the right track, that they are using something that they're not telling you. And the government allows it. Now the government should put down their foot and said, no, you do it natural because you're causing our American people to have arthritis and sickness and everything. But they got on these companies and said, no, you can't use these chemicals and stuff. And the FDA, which is supposed to protect us, now is so overwhelmed that they allow the companies that are making this stuff to do the research and give them the paperwork, and then they okay it. That doesn't work. They used to have to do research on it before it was even allowed. This is where, when they took over and women left the kitchen, this canning and stuff got into their hands, and they're not concerned about your health. Their whole thing is the dollar bill. Always remember, their thing is the dollar bill is in front of them. Ching, ching, ching. That's all they want. So they don't care what happens to all of you. But as long as they're up there, they're comfortable, they've got their mansions and everything else. So you have to, if you care, and I mean you really, really care, you will sit there and go back into that kitchen and do what you're supposed to do and protect your family, because that's all you can do. Anyway, let me get some. I'm going to pour, let's see, I have to see if I have more buttermilk or yogurt, but I use them interchangeably when I'm going to coat the meat, because I rinse it and I pat it dry. You rinse it because if you check your meat, you'll see little grits and stuff on it. This is from the cutting of the meat because it's frozen and stuff. You wash all of that off and you pat it dry, and then you put something on to be able to help to get that flour to stick. Most chefs will tell you, you salt and pepper the meat and you sear it. Now we are braising it, which means browning it. That's because we've got oil in the pan, a little bit of oil, and we're going to be browning them. This is what most people will say browning, but they say braising. When you sear, you have no oil in that pan at all, and what you do with it. And I'll pick up some steaks. God, I hope I can afford them because prices going up. And we will practice on how to sear steaks. I just don't have any right now. Buttermilk wins out over the yogurt. I was eating yogurt yesterday. I just enjoy eating a lot of people, especially homemade. It's much stronger than the yogurt you get in the store. The other one in the store is so thin, it's ridiculous. But the ones who have a lot of culture, man, you can taste the difference. And your buttermilk, will also have good flavor. You just buy it once and you just can keep it going forever. Unless you kill it or you drink it all before you make more. So I always have something over there every couple of days in my little alcove over there. I sit there and I have either buttermilk or yogurt going. And if the weather's nice, you'll see breads and rolls and other things there rising. By the way, I used my homemade baking powder, and it did a wonderful job on the pancakes. The pancakes came up nice, and I used buttermilk, and I did not have to use baking soda because I used buttermilk. So homemade is very good. It does work. If you have a recipe that has both of them in there, bypass the baking soda, and if you're using homemade baking powder and just use your baking powder, it will come out very nice. I really want to start doing my sourdoughs, making bread, but it's too hot, and I have to use a high temperature, and I have those European ones, but it's just too dang hot. I can't. I will melt. You'll see me disappear. The heat will just melt me like an ice cube. And you know I've already got heat going because I'm cooking, so you're going to see that. Wait a minute, I haven't even decided what seasonings I want to put on this. Why didn't you tell me? How dare you not tell me? Made self-rising cornmeal. I've got it right here in the jar. I couldn't find it the other day. Find it when I can't find the other thing. Fish. Fish. Looking for my self-rising, and I could not find it the other day. I know they say this is for fish, okay? But I like the smell of the tarragon and stuff, and I want to put it with the beef. So they say you shouldn't put it with the beef. I'm going to put it with the beef. If it doesn't come out well, then I blow the dinner. That's me. And you know I'm going to go heavy-handed on it. Let me turn you further down. You can see I am heavy-handed with my seasonings. See, people limit their seasonings and said, well, you've got to use the seasonings for this. But you should be able to mix your seasonings and stuff together. I just like the smell of tarragon. I know beef has a strong smell, but I'm still going to try it because that's what I want. And this time I'm probably going to put some wild grains in it, whole grains as well. Now see, the reason we season or treat us the way we cook today, we use white flour, and you use simple things like that. Open the bottom of this? No. Is you use white flour, and you use vegetable oil. There's no flavor. So they tell you, because there's no flavor, and you use white rice, white potatoes, white this, white that, you're missing a lot of flavors. So they add seasonings so you can, but they usually just add 1 or 2, and this is what they do. So you need that flavoring. I'm going to use stock, gel, mixed seasonings, and everything else. So when I cook this, I might have to add a little bit of salt or something like that, but I'm not going to have to do a lot of seasoning because I've already got a lot of flavor. This is where they are really just cutting back on everything. Wild game has a lot of flavor, so you don't have to add a lot of seasonings to it. But the government controls the hunting. You can only hunt this during this time of the year. You can only do this, you can do that. That's because we're taking the land away from the animals. So the population of the animals are going down, so therefore they have to sit there and control it. This is government control. Before, people sat there and lived with nature and did what they had to do. So, I want full flavor with my food, so I am going to go in a different direction and add more seasonings by using the stocks from my peelings. My stocks are very rich. If you're sick, the broth you can drink. If you're in some pain, if you want to take a tablespoon of gelatin and put it in a cup of hot water and sip that, it's going to relax you. There are things we can do. Now I am going to sit there. This is the flour I sifted. I'm going to take the meat, I'm going to flour it and put it on a rack. It's right at your feet. So you can see, that's why I did the potato salad the way I did. A lot of people just put celery and that, and there's not much flavoring in it. It's pretty flat. Mine has a lot of flavor because I put a lot in it. If you're unaccustomed to it, you'll probably say it tastes weird or something. But I want flavor. I want vegetables. And most of all, I don't like being sick. I'm not on any medication, and I am 71. I'm not a superhuman, but I try to stay as healthy as I can. If you don't like sickness, by all means, you're going to have to get in the kitchen. If you want your children healthy, because if you don't cook for them, when they get older, they're going to have a lot of medical issues. And if you don't cook for your husband properly, as he ages, he's going to be getting sick and everything else, and he's going to show it. You can't hide it. You think you're young and you're taking drugs and having a grand old time drinking, the females and all. Your children are going to pay the price. Because alcohol pulls minerals out of your body. It distorts your mind, and they're proving it, and the damage is permanent. And it's harder for people to function as they get older. And you think it's cool, I can do what I want. You can't. If your labor is bad and hurts you and everything, that's from your diet. Because I went through 3, all right? I lost 1. and it was natural. I ate, and then women are going to find this very hard and talk about, she's the biggest liar in the world. I didn't. I ate through transition. I had 1 day of morning sickness. When I found out I had morning sickness and I was pregnant, that was it. I sat there and I made sure I took my B complex and a B6. I didn't want to bring up anything. I hate up choking. Oh, I'm going to have to do these meats again. Do your meats twice. You can see it is starting to dry. Fluid's coming through. So you want to coat them a second time to make sure it holds those seasonings in there for you. No, I didn't get a prenatal. I didn't do all of that. I made a, like I said, I made a diet up. I did not want to be morning sickness. I hate pain with a passion. And I knew it would start to work because when I got out on my own, I started taking calcium, magnesium in the ratio the human body has. And I started in a nutritional drink for breakfast. And I noticed, because I had them severe, I went down. I had it bad. So I knew my pregnancies were going to be bad, or what I did. And as I continued on it, I noticed my menstrual cycles were nothing. I didn't have to take aspirin. I didn't have to take pain or anything else. I balanced out. I had to give my body time, but it worked, and I was so happy. Oh my God. To be able to just have it come and go, no problems. So it's diet. I had to prove it was diet. And then I thought maybe it was just me. My girlfriend wanted to have a baby, but she, like me, was a bit concerned about pregnancy. She didn't like the pain of it all. She didn't want to go through that labor. So she tried diet and it worked. So I can say, unaffected. And I was stood up in transition and was arguing with a doctor. I told him, there is no pain in labor. I've been through it. And he's sitting there saying, I didn't know what I was talking about. I said, no, you don't know what you're talking about. And everybody thought I was going to collapse because I was very close to transition. And I was standing with my hands on my hips, what hips I had, arguing with him. And I told him he didn't know what he was talking about. And he told me, you don't know what you're talking about, and you're lying to me. You're in pain. I said, no, I'm not in pain. So women, if you're healthy, if your labor is bad, that tells you how unhealthy you are. That means your child could have a mask on it, or what do they call it? Prenatal mask. The baby's face will be wrinkly. My sons came out with a smile on their face. They were happy to greet this world. Shocked people. They were laughing. They were happy. So, you can have beautiful, healthy children that sleep through the night and don't wake you up. They're not crying and pouty or anything else. They're beautiful children, babies. And you can get your rest and everything else that you need. So the house gets a little dirty. That's okay. Enjoy the rest. You've earned it. You know. In transition, if you're healthy, you don't have to have a episiotomy. For the men who don't know what that is, they cut you down there to open the opening wider so the skin doesn't tear. Mine didn't tear. Okay? And I passed a 15-pound baby. I'm just setting you up so I can get this started. I have some oil in the pan. See, I'm going to add some more, I think. We're going to braise these, but I will show you how to shear. Never mind. Shear. Now, I can't say the word now. Anyway, I'll show you how to do it when we get to it. I tell you, I have days. Sear. That's it. Sear the meat. I'm gonna have to get some steaks for that. Maybe filet mignon with bacon. I love that. I'm not gonna tell you. Filet mignon is one of my favorite cuts other than a standing beef roast. It's hot. What starts today at 2 p.m.? All right, you're going to get pan and potato salad because you like it. By the way, this smells good. I'm going to use Kamut, which is a natural traditional grain of Egypt. No, leave it on. I just want to make this very nutritious. I'll leave it in the pot till tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to serve it with cornbread, if I want to serve it over peas and rice, or have mashed potatoes next to it, or what I'm going to do. But if I make a gravy with it and there's extra fat, I'll sit there and throw lecithin in to absorb that. But I am going to use the Kamut to also cook the flavor and thicken up the gravy at the same time. So I'm using another way of doing it. God, this smells good. This really smells good. So I'm using a seasoning they would recommend for, what do they recommend it for? For fish. They said this is for fish, Because it smells really good with beef. Trying to find my black peppercorn. Wait a minute. I'm going to do something different. Okay. Here it is. Okay. I have red peppercorns. Have you ever heard of red peppercorns? I had not. But anyway, I bought some because I needed it for a recipe, and these are spicy. So I'm going to add them instead of the black peppers. I'm going to add some spice to it because they said these are a little hotter. I'll put in about 10, maybe 15, and we'll try and see how they come out. I tell you, every time I make something, I'm going to think of something else that I can do with it to just bring the flavor up and try and see what happens. I have mixtures of some things I don't even know what they are. I have to write everything down. And because these are bones, we're going to get a lot of folic acid in the gravy and everything else that I'm adding into it. How's that? Doesn't that look good? Now the red peppercorns you're going to have to get from Amazon. I've had to go to Amazon for some of these elite things that I want. And I'll show you, they really are red. See? They have a smell of heat about them. Really quite unusual. I won't try one by itself. I don't feel like burning my mouth this morning. But I'm putting in about that much. And we'll see how it affects this. I know the gelatin and the stock will help bring up a lot of flavor with the seasonings. But as you can see, I'm putting in a lot of flavor. I'm not adding the salt though. I'll add the salt, later. They say add the salt to draw the juices out. Yeah, it draws the juices out, but everybody throws the liquid out. So, we're just throwing everything out this way. I want to make sure it stays in there, and I'm going to use every bit of this. And I have a beautiful recipe that came out of one of my New England cookbooks, and it's baked fish, but it's how it's put together. And I said, ooh, la la, I gotta check this one out. So when I go shopping, I'll be picking up some fish. And then I'll be heading out to the meat store after I finish the supermarket, because I'm getting a low on some of these cuts that I happen to like very much. Do I like eating? Yes, I do. I guess because I've been introduced to so much, like I told you. My husband's friends were very eccentric, but I love them all. They were just some of the greatest people. And his mentor was Hugh Miller. And Hugh Miller is his paintings and sketches are hanging up in the Smithsonian. Yeah, they're there. And he was the godfather of our children. And a very good friend. And he was my husband's mentor. Even geniuses have their mentors. But I consider my husband a genius. He was a Rhodes Scholar, and I just was like, I tell you, I was around people who were so highly intelligent, I felt really stupid. but they helped me a lot. They really did. They didn't make fun of me. They didn't put me down. And if I didn't understand something, they explained it to me. Like, I cannot fry chicken like the French, and the French make excellent fried chicken. If I wanted fried chicken, something eccentric, I would buy Hugo. He said, would you cook? He could make some chicken that was so good. We had an earthquake, 2 of them, and it has slightly shifted the house, so I don't have it like this. I have it slightly off, so sometimes I have to work my pan. That's why my cake slightly tilts. Okay. There go these peppercorns. Remember, they're the red ones. We're going to pour some gelatin into this. About a tablespoon or 2. Because that's going to fix those joints of ours. And I think I'm going to put in about 1/4 of a cup of Kamut, which, like I told you, is the whole grain of Egypt. Now these grains are a little on the long side. If you can, I'll see if you can see. I'm not sure, but they're long. They're not short and dumpy. But when you start using whole grains, you can actually see. Some of them are different sizes. I'm putting the rice in a 1 cup measure so I can clean them, and then I'm going to strain them and put them in. This should give me about 3/4 of the grain when it's completely cooked. 3/4 of a cup. So you can just imagine how nutritious this is. Anything I add to this will accompany this. We'll just finish it up very nicely. I've got a ton of vegetables in here because you see how I make my vegetable stock. And I have the gelatin. So you can see what I've done there. Just want to get the rice in so it can cook. The smell coming from this is so rich, and I haven't even really finished cooking it yet. But you can see the gravy, you can see the gelatin and all in here. and that is going to help us. Peppercorns, get in there. Now, because the peppercorns are hot, they're going to make this meat tender a little on the faster side, because when you add heat, that's what it does. It breaks it down better with those enzymes. Of course, you feel like they're going to rip your throat apart at the same time. So that's going to be cooking for a good while. I'm going to bring it to the boil, and I'm going to put the lid on, and then I'm just going to finish cooking it, turn the temperature down on it, and let it go for a couple hours. I should have very little gravy left, and the meat should be quite tender. So that's it for now. Okay, the meat is really tender. The whole grain, kamut, has not finished cooking. But like I said, this is going to be for tomorrow. So what I'm going to do right now is put a lid on it and just put it to the side. It's hot enough that the kamut will finish cooking and it will be ready tomorrow. And that is all the cooking I will be doing with that. Because my son's told me point blank, we love that potato salad. Could we have that again? I said, okay. So we'll have the leftover potato salad today to eat, and that will be for tomorrow. So listen, you take care, be safe. We're going back in those temperatures again, which is not safe for any of us. Take care and enjoy your day. Bye-bye.